First, data, we'll think about it. Sell more, expand market share, heavy reliance on limited number of vendors. This I told you is the core issues. You know he's a pain, you're getting complaints, he is firing people for leaking out data, yet you cannot sanction him or fine him. Okay? Weak mechanisms to oversee data protection, and vendors don't care. Now, when things do end up in court, anybody been part of a court case? I had the fortune or misfortune of being part of a court case early this year. So, judge says, IT? What has income tax got to do with this case? So, this guy stands up. This guy is called the senior counsel. The senior counsel is like the Shah Rukh Khan of the legal industry. Okay? He's got exactly 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes to explain to the judge what is IP address, why is this data public but still to be protected, what is imaging, forget about imaging, he doesn't understand imaging to begin with. So he says, well, you know, see sir, this is under section 66 which is related to computer hacking because, okay, and what happens, you know, how this is how the system really works. So a senior counsel who may come on TV or NDTV and give quotes, he has no clue what he's talking about when it comes to IT, right? So he's got a team of junior counsels. Sir, notes. They prepare notes. This guy goes from one hearing to another and he's being updated those notes while he's talking, right? So the junior counsel tries to tell him, sir, we need to get imaging done. What is imaging? Sir, this cyber security expert we hired, he said we need to get imaging done. Okay. So then he said, what is imaging? Thinking, how do I explain to this guy what is imaging? So I said, sir, if you see a legal document which you want to show as evidence, do you want me to make notes of that document or Xerox? He said, Xerox, with notary. I said, that is imaging. Great. I will ask the judge to allow imaging to be done of the suspect servers. Judge says, please continue, what is this pusser happening? Because actually that is what is happening. The judge himself has very less time to listen because he's got dozens of, you know, the court system, the judicial system in India. This is actually what has happened, Delhi High Court. So senior counsel finally says, sir, we need a forensic investigation done. Judge says, what is that? Seal the website. Sir, it's not a shop. It's not an office. I cannot go and seal www.abcd.com. Judge says, we appoint this commissioner to go and seal. Okay, there are court appointed commissioners. Okay, shocking. Commissioner has never been inside a data center. So his only question is, who is paying my fees? Is it the complaining party or the defendant? So both the parties say, we'll split your fees. Now why is this question of fees? Do you know how much a commissioner earns in a day? A court appointed commissioner for 1 day of work? Anywhere from 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees. To go to a data center, supervise, make some notes, sign and get the website sealed. So when this happened, the court gave the order to seal the website. The CTO of the company said, I'll go with the commissioner. The CTO of the other company said, I'll also go with the commissioner to the data center and we'll seal the server. I said, very good. Make sure you seal it properly. What happens? Big nice seal. Put where? Literally, put where? Where the power cord goes in. I said, why? Seal हो गया ना? और नहीं हो सकता. ऐसा स्क्रू खोल के बाहर निकाल के हार्ड ड्राइव पे निकालेगा. ये हो सकता है. This is the reality of the world that we are living in. This is the reality of the country we are living in. This is literally how that. Of course, it's not a tower. It's a blade server. But the power cord has been taken out. A cloth has been put and a red wax seal has been put. Website sealed. Okay, that guy could set up 5 other servers, got 5 other IP addresses and start his website again. But as far as the court is concerned and his commissioner is concerned, website is sealed. Okay, so you came to know of a data theft. You did your investigation. You found out who stole your data. You hired a lawyer who you thought knows about data security. Okay, his junior counsel. You hired KK Mukhi as the forensic expert. To explain to these people, I had to make notes. What is an IP address? What is a hard drive? Literally. Okay. Anyway, I said no problem. I'll explain it in plain language. But when you get this, then where is your data protection going to land up? After all of this that you've done, you spend lakhs and lakhs, and that senior counsel is even more expensive. Seriously, exorbitantly expensive. These guys are standing 15 minutes in court. So, where do we end up with all of this? What's the solution? Okay. Technology, there are a number of technologies, right? But the problem is, you put DLP, you put IRM, you put encryption, you put audit log management, you got certified. But then you want to hire this distributor and give him this information. He steals it, you're not going to get anywhere with it. So where is the problem? Where is the solution? The solution is with stronger regulations. It is with stronger penalties and fines and courts. Do you know how many convictions under the IT Act? How many convictions under the IT Act? I heard one, so that's rapid progress. 3 convictions under the IT Act. No, that was 0. No, there is one conviction.
There is no case law still, I think.
There are multiple cases law, hundreds of cases.
No case law because there's no judgment actually.
Case law, there is one case that was convicted. There was one guy convicted under the IT Act. Anybody knows who this guy was? There was one doctor in Chennai who with his brother in the US was filming patients nude and uploading them and created a porn website. He has been convicted. He is in jail. That's it. Most importantly, and this is in sequence of difficulty, mindset change. Okay, so if the CTO is standing up and saying, I don't have a budget for security, why should I spend because there's no regulation around it? So, talk to me next year. It is not a technology issue, right? We keep harping on this. We sit here, we talk about it, but how many business process owners are really, how many people in marketing or customer relationship management or trading or research are really caring about the data that they are handling? And ISO 27000. I think that's the bane of security, right? Yesterday I was talking to somebody and he's setting up a telecom aggregation network and he said, I want a lot of security. I said, you want a lot of security, but when you called me, you said you want ISO 27001. He said, yeah, it's the best. I said, no, ISO 27001 you'll get certified. I'll sit in Bombay in my office or sit at home over a weekend and I can get you certified. That's not the point. The point is you'll still not be secured, right? So that mindset change has not happened. So let's quickly look at some conclusions before we move into Q&A, and please note the time is 1:25. So I've stuck to my commitment. First is that this data leakage is actually an epidemic in this country. Okay, we don't realize it that it is that bad. Okay, it's good and we must talk about things like exploits and buffer overflows and 0 days and so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is that all the firewalls, the web application firewalls, intrusion detection, SOC, and all of this is not going to prevent if people are taking chunkloads of data and taking it out of the back door of your company, right? Which is what is happening. When Big Brother beats the stick, when our teachers tell us the exam date is finalized, then we start studying, and that mindset has still not changed. So only when the regulator comes and says for every record you leak, okay, I'm going to whip your ass and fine you so much rupees, then things will start to change. Those fines need to get imposed. It's not happened so far. We need that one big case to happen. Back to basics approach, people don't know where that data is. People don't know who has access to data, okay, who's doing what with that data. There is no control over it. It's an absolute mess. Any medium to large organization you go in, data is all over the bloody place, okay. Technologies help, but it has to begin with people, processes, and the last point I want to leave you with is if you are a consultant or if you are an auditor or if you are a forensics guy and you got called in for this case, okay, there is a very brilliant, beautiful, simple technique, okay. Suppose this company calls you and says, you've got this stuff that has happened, please investigate. The first thing, and we've done this so many times, that what we do is we go and first buy a new phone number, brand new. Okay, nobody knows that phone number. And we register a new email address. Okay, and then we buy a policy or we buy a mutual fund or open a trading account with that information. Right? Now, if I get a call on that number, it is so virgin and unique, that piece of information, that now I can trail it through all the databases in that organization, find where all it has, right? So I've got, it's like when they do this angiography, right? They send this colored dye. So now I send that colored dye through the systems and I know where all it has gone and who has touched it, right? And it proves the issue, and you'll be shocked how quickly you get calls on that number which nobody knew. Typically, if you register with your own phone number, you had it for 5, 6, 7 years, you've gone to a restaurant, filled up a feedback form, given your visiting cards and conferences, like it's all over the place, right? But a brand new phone number traversing through the systems and then getting leaked out clearly tells you where the problem is, and then you can get it deeper, right? So that's the thought I want to leave you with. If you've got any questions, we can take those. And thank you for being a very patient audience. We can take questions. Yes.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. One is, were you interviewed by somebody, about this? I mean, like, is it getting published on some media?
No, the media is more interested in Stuxnet. And yeah, so it's not like I said, it's not in the national consciousness. It happens to UAB, right? It happens to us on a quarterly basis. Every time we do something, but we just take it as a part of life and move on. People aren't really shaking up the system. And that's why I started this, because over the last year there have been 3 or 4 significant cases that have come to us that show the rot, how deep it is in the system.
Because this one is actually eye-opening, because I think we in India know more about data security and privacy of US than actually what's happening
on the ground.
That's what we read about all the time.
Right. And it is just a few cases, because a lot of that, like I requested him to switch off on those 3 or 4 slides, although I sanitized it. But a lot of it is very sensitive information, and you've got to sanitize it through a few layers before you talk about it, but it's very, very prevalent. Like there have been cases where people have dumped the entire database and just walked out the door, right, and sold it to a competitor. So this is what is happening on the ground. And how much is your corporate database in size zipped? It will fit on a USB, 32 GB. Okay, I'm not talking about the entire database, but your customer database will fit zipped on a 32 GB pen drive. Yes, so you had any other questions?
I think basically Dava makes a good point that it's a national consciousness issue as well.
Right.
What we probably need is to actually get this out there with the media and taking names. There should be unsanitized information, sort of almost like a sting operation, where then we see it on the news and people understand that this is a problem. Because as you know, you're preaching to the choir, but I think most of the people were still surprised by the depth of how pervasive it is.
Right.
So probably if there's some way.
And it's a good point you bring up, because as part of preparing for this talk, I was trying to go online and see if these cases are public, okay, so that I would not have to disclose any confidential information. And what I did find is that there are a lot of consumer forums where people go and complain about credit cards and bank accounts. I mean, you start reading those complaints, you actually see this stuff emerging. But it is submerged in, I didn't get my card in 20 days, or my card name was printed wrong, and so on and so forth. But when you see the actual cases coming up, it's all related to data theft. Like the gentleman at the back was telling us, right?
So financial impact.
That's the problem. No, there is no financial impact. If there were a financial impact, I wouldn't be standing here. I would be working very hard helping them protect their data. Right? There is a lack of financial impact, which is why I said one of the main things that needs to happen is somebody needs to build the stick. Okay, what's going to happen? 2 or 3 or 5% of your customers will switch over, because have you ever switched over because you had a data or privacy violation from a service provider? No. There was this huge sting operation on Vodafone where for 5,000 rupees you could get customer call records, right? NDTV had done this a few years back. I'm a Vodafone customer, I never switched. So the penalties need to get imposed, cases need to get to court. Like the case that I was talking about, when the website got sealed, it's back up again in a matter of months. So what did they lose? They lost about a couple of months of not being there online. Right? So folks, I'll be there at lunch. I don't want to hold you back. If you have any pressing questions, I'll be happy to take those, or else we'll interact at the break, during the break. Right? Thank you very much.